have some good news for you. You're about to see Sharon Stone in a way you've never seen her before. And to take us through that, Daniel Shamota.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our presentation, Performance Capture Mastery with KineFX, PDG and Unreal Engine. My name is Daniel Shamota. I am a CEO, VFX supervisor, and the lead 3D artist in 3SISTERS. So 3SISTERS, we call it Multi-Potential Creative Alliance, and we generally do visual effects, animation, virtual production, motion capture, live shows, experience design, and even music production. We work a lot with characters in different forms, mostly 3D characters, and we animate them or by hand or using performance capture. And 3SISTERS was originally founded by just two guys, me and Peter, around 10 years ago, and now it has grown to studio, bigger, with around like 5 people in house and some outsourcing, and we are looking for more guys to join us. You always. So I want to briefly overview the different performance capture techniques. You generally separate it to face, body, and finger motion capture, and for each of them there are different systems. So for face, for example, you have some simple motion capture like what people do with iPhones, so it's blend shape rigs, or on the highest end it's 4D facial capture. For the body, you have the optical system, when you put like a lot of cameras around, and you have the volume where you can step and walk and do the motion capture. It's very precise, but you're kind of limited to the area that you work in. But from the other side, you can bring as many characters as you put inside this volume. We use inertial suits. We use accent suits. They are really, really robust and high-end, and the quality is superior. And for the finger, you generally use gloves or just hand animation. Very important in motion capture is actor performance, because sometimes it just doesn't work. You need to have the synergy between the actor and the character it portrays, and when it works, it's incredible. So motion capture versus manual animation is also an important thing, because there are advantages on each, but generally MoCap is faster, but more natural. But manual animation, you can be more creative. You can go to the stuff that like people don't do, more cartoon stuff. And if to demystify the motion capture myth, it's not something that solves you everything. You still need to do cleanups. You still need to improve the stuff. Sometimes it just doesn't work. So Houdini's role in character animation. So today with KineFX, Houdini has pretty solid framework for animation editing, and it's really cool. We like it a lot. And before that, we had like object level rigs, and they looked like that. So you import your character and FBX, and every bone has its own OBJ node. And like you can read the hierarchy here, but it's pretty harsh. And we actually did one project before KineFX was released. We was actually stuck in Georgia during Corona. We came to shoot a music video, and then everything got cancelled. We were very upset and decided to do it all in 3D. And of course, totally in Houdini. And generally what we used there, it was something like looks like KineFX motion clips. We used agents, so we brought like big animations. We didn't use these rigs except of one creature, but we brought the big files to the agents and lay out them in the scene. It was sort of like motion clips. This is like short part of this music video. We don't have sound. Sorry, is the sound? So this Hydra was like object level rig, but all the rest are agents. And it's very comfortable to work it this way, even before KineFX, but now it's much better. Okay, cool. Thank you. It's all this. Okay, so now we go into our first big project, and it's a very serious one. We have here a Hollywood superstar, the face that everyone knows, that she plays a superhero in a commercial, and we did digital double of her for scanning her, photo scanning, and making volumetric facial performance. Yeah, it's a bit not safe for watching, but let's see.
Nothing beats the taste of winning.
Captain Star.
What is it, Thumfred?
We've detected a traffic spike in an online personality quiz.
It's got boredom's fingerprints all over it.
Captain Star to the rescue!
Slotomania. Final excitement.
Just remember, fun is in your hands. Download Slotomania now for free and find out what will today spin.
I believe some of you want to unsee it, but it will not happen already. Yeah, so she's generally a finger superhero that goes and rescues boring fingers from boredom and pushes the button to download the slots game. Ooh. Yeah, but the thing is, what we've done is like the head and facial animation of Sharon Stone. We generally did all the 3D work here, but like this is the thing. And this is, for example, the hero close-up of her talking.
Just remember, fun is in your hands. Just remember, fun is in your hands.
Yeah, so you can see
Just remember, fun is in your hands.
The movement
Just remember,
and everything.
Fun is in your...
And yeah, it was interesting to do that. Pretty tough, especially since Sharon is the one who had to approve how she looks, and for her to see herself for the first time in 3D was interesting. But it worked really well, and she was really impressed. This is, for example, some light tests and stuff. And generally what happened is we went to the studio in Los Angeles. We did the shooting. I was supervising it by Zoom, actually, remotely. And yeah, she brought really, really great energy, despite the fact that she needs to sit in the cage of a lot of dome lights and it just blinds. It's not easy. And she was super professional and did it really well. And her actor work is incredible, of course. So like the facts about this project are, so we did very high-end facial scans. It's not just photogrammetry, it's photometric scans when you shoot the face from different directions and you have not only the color map, but also normal map and reflection map. Then we make the facial 4D performance capture. So we generally take 60 scans per second. It's pretty heavy. It was like over 80 terabytes of raw data from this day, and we had to process it. And one of the most challenging parts was that this is not just some actor, it's Sharon Stone, it's face that everyone needs to recognize, and it's not easy. Yeah, and we did it just like around 4 3D artists plus compositing artists in just 3 months of work, and it wouldn't happen without Houdini because of the automation and stuff that we can do there, and proceduralism, and it's really cool. We're going to show you a little bit. So we will look at a little breakdown.
Just remember, fun is in your hands. That's happening here. See, I look like right? I look like an elf. And I am sitting inside of this dome. Every single one of these is a camera. And I am surrounded 360 degrees.
Captain Slaughterstar to the rescue! This is wild!
Finally, excitement! Help!
We've detected a traffic spike. The flash mob did it.
So yeah, the most important part here was obviously the likeness, and like we had a lot of just showing here some mood boards. Why it's run away, I don't know, but we have like separate mood boards for brows, for expressions, for the eyes, for everything, for teeth. What we didn't have mood boards for. And we like had, of course, to like the scan gives you a lot, but you still have to adapt it to the way you want her to look. And we had actually partnered with our fellow from DNEG who sculpted her a little bit, made some blend shapes. But yeah, we are not allowed really to show the raw data with Sharon, so we have different characters, so we're showing the raw data from them. So this is David, another actor who is actually really, really cool for this kind of stuff. And you can see this, what we get from the scan. And this is the retopologized version. This is just the goal of this stuff. Because generally when you receive this 4D sequence, it's now, first of all, it's 4 times faster. It's, as you can see, it's like 2.5 million of polygons on each frames, and the topology changes every frame. It's not something usable, and you can see how slow it loads. It's, for example, with the texture. So yeah, now like 1 minute passed, we swapped frame, and it looks like smooth shaded. It's not. It's just very, very dense mesh, and you don't really need it. You need nice and clean topology to work it, to stay consistent. So then you could, you know, really work with it. You could modify it. You could blend it with different stuff. And today in Houdini there is how it's called, the node topo transfer that generally does it on the still images, still frames, but we used a proprietary software called RAP. We worked together with a team of developers, Faceform, and they helped us to make this 4D sequence to wrapped up. Generally speaking, as you can see now, the UVs are staying in place, the topology and consistency, this is what we want. Generally, there are some dots on the face that the software recognizes, and you also feed like the set of expression scans, and then you just blend it, and then it produces the sequences. And this is, for example, on the left, each frame of the row scans have totally different texture. It's not something usable. You can imagine, like, if you want to blend something or paint, it's just not there. On the right, it's on the process topology, so it's pretty solid. We then just did some manual cleanups in comp, like for the glitch and shaking areas, and it works really, really well. Yeah. Here, for example, of couple of LODs that we have after the process of topo transfer, and it's insane, the quality of it. It's nothing else compared to it. And yeah, we didn't even use the right one, the highest LOD, because it's like way too dense. And believe me, even you put like the left one, the lowest LOD subdivision level, to the with the shader to the renderer, to look incredible and much better than any other facial solution, because you know all the details come in the shader already. You bring the normal map, you bring all the subsurface scattering, and then it just looks good. Yeah. So then we have developed our custom tool to import these shots, because we have a lot, even after we process them, we have like a lot of takes, a lot of other stuff. And yeah, with this tool, we can generally swap character, swap take, and it gets updated. And it's generally have all the stuff inside of it. It's built with Python. And yeah, we have like 4 outputs. It's the face, it's unstabilized face. It's another guy. He's suffering. Yeah, and yeah, we can also like convert it to 24 FPS, because we have like freaking 60 scans per second. And yeah, the important part here also the face stabilization, because generally when someone sits in the dome, he doesn't have his head locked. He just talks and moves his head, and it's something you can't avoid, obviously, but then you need to stabilize it. And especially when people try to put this head on like moving body that they record with motion capture, you have the issue that your head moves separately. You need to stabilize, and it's actually a pretty tough task, because it's even something that's still in the research of Disney. They still do it. But again, the guys at RAP team helped us a lot with that. It's their new development. But generally, it works with just 3 points on the face. You find the most stable ones. It's generally usually the ones here, maybe one here, and then it works. And then you can see now like the difference of unstable and stable. Then the same for the eyes, because they flicker a little bit with on the scans, but we actually used video to track them from the front camera, and yeah, transfer it to the character. And then also the teeth is also something that yeah, this is the eyes that we track. And the teeth, like the top teeth never move. They move with your head. But the bottom, they have their own life. They don't move, obviously, with your lips. And yeah, it's also tough to track it. But this is how the character looks together with the teeth and the eyes with stabilized face. Yeah, it's pretty incredible detail, I must say, and it's very fun to work with that. Okay, this is our finger rig. Yes, it can be a bit creepy, but yeah, we just generally rate the finger under the face, and yeah, we don't show the face when we animate because it's heavy. Yeah, so this is IK controls. You can adjust some poses, and then you have also FK to rotate the joints, and yeah, you can keyframe it. It's very convenient and nice to create poses for the finger. And in this tool of the rig, we have like buttons to add head, to add props, and now it will show how we press the button to create all the other pipeline. Yeah, we can even change the head because it's all sharing the same topology, so it's very convenient. So we have a button to create the importer that I showed before, and now we have it connected to the finger, and we can just switch between takes and generally take relevant take for this scene. And we had separate heap files for every take, and it was very nice to work in this way. Then we had grooming. Yeah, we had 48 versions of Sharon hair in total, and mostly because hairstyle was changed 3 times from the client side. And yeah, actually Houdini allowed us to make it happen thanks to Kai with the toolset, really, because like I did like 80% of the groom like in I think 2 hours during making the masterclass to my team, how to make groom in Houdini, and it was very nice. And then it was just the matter of adjusting. Yeah, so you can see like some, it was supposed to loop. Yeah, and so we had like some clump groups and stuff. And it's very nice. And of course, we had like grooms for brows and eyelashes and a bit of facial hair, like peach fuzz. All right, another project. So this project, Universal Joys, generally currently it's a film in Unreal Engine that about the third temple. Yeah, so it's an interactive film that we did doing Unreal. We generally created the whole thing in Houdini to bring it to Unreal, and it's had a huge scope. We're gonna show the trailer and stuff, and as you can see, a lot of things was done in Houdini, and we can just start with trailer and move on. Thank you, guys. It's pretty hot here. So yeah, it's generally it's a tour on the third temple. Something it's not existing. It's something that's one day maybe gonna be built, but it's something that also don't have any concepts or designs, have some prophets talking about it. So we had to create everything from scratch. So we completely designed the whole world and all the characters. There are some guidelines like what they wear and how they look, but like, and that's it. And yeah, so it has like, where are the facts? Oh, okay, sorry. So it's generally 20 minutes cinematic with 10 sequences with up to 6,000 frames each. So like rendering it out from Unreal is like already not real time at all. Like when you crank up the quality with everything, with the characters and so on, this sequence renders in like 2 hours in good quality. And we had like 10 unique characters that we designed with, on the last scene we had like 71 instances of these characters and frames. And we decided to use metahumans because it's, the film is in Unreal, we are allowed to do that, so why not? But yeah, we faced a lot of limitations and stuff that we have to deal with, and we modified them heavily. The bodies, faces, grooms and stuff. And yeah, we have the animations, very long ones also. So we recorded them with accent suits. And yeah, we done the procedural retarget and motion editing in Houdini. We developed a special pipeline for that. And it's really productive. It really helped us to achieve this goal because the scope is huge and this number of frames, it's just crazy. Yeah, so we have like, sorry, we have this pipeline. This is behind the scenes of our motion capture. Yeah, so like this is a UI of Accents, and after we record, we generally, what we do, we obviously look at it, but generally we straight away export all of this in a batch. We make processing inside, there is some very cool post-processing algorithm inside Accents. It just cleans the data very much, and it makes it look much better than just raw data. It's something that does not exist in other softwares, and we generally process them in a batch, say where, define a few settings, and it goes out like that, and then we just bring this all to Houdini, to our special retarget tool that we created with KineFX and PDG. So the goal of this tool is to filter the takes, to review them, to add comments, setting ranges. It's actually very cool. It's something like people wouldn't expect to do in Houdini, but voila, it works really well. And then we retarget animation to our character rig. Using PDG, it allows us to make it at scale because sometimes there are a lot of takes, really. So you can see here it in action. It's our custom tool, generally fit to just one node. And we just specify the directory where exported files from the previous step, and you specify the character. You can add his clothing, and yes, now we built this directory, and you can see here the name of the take, the range of it, and you can press scrub, play, define, look at the stuff, and you push these buttons, little dots of the PDG, and you scrub through the takes. It's really, really cool. And for example, here we can see that his fingers are frozen, maybe like it wasn't recorded or something. So we can just say, okay, I don't want this take. I don't need it. And this take also. Like usually we go with one of the last takes. They are usually the best. And you press the button, it refreshes, and you have like much less items in the that you work with. And again, we just remove few of them in order to be more clean. And then you can also configure the animations. So what it does is that you can set the ranges. For example, like this take, we want to start at a specific frame, or you can enter it manually, or you can just set from here until somewhere here. You can do this for all the text that you want. And also you can write a description or comment, so it will store it as attribute that animator can take it to. For example, this take has good energy. It's running really, really nice, and we have different characters there. And when we are done, we just enable the export, and the directories are automatic, and we generally just press and cook it. And Houdini is great at cooking. And in the batch you have all these dots that become green. They have your animation exported and ready. And it's really nice. Working in a batch at scale is beneficial because usually people retarget this one by one, or just look at the result post factum when they do that in a batch. Now here we see it live. Okay, so our next step is to import these animations for editing them one by one. So here we put the directory where we put all the characters, and we can change the character, also add his clothing, but actually we can do it after we press create. So our working it's just less heavy in terms of size. So we decide on this clause, and we press the button, and it creates these networks for all the animations in the OBJ levels that we go inside, and we can edit them one by one, which is really cool. And it creates generally the network that have some predefined stuff, but also then you create your stuff manually. So then usually what you want to do is to put them somewhere in the scene where you want to work with them. And we generally connect them to the null and put them to this place. And why we are doing it like that and not, taking the root bone and putting it in the space, because you want all of your animations to be zeroed out. You want them to be in the local space. So you make transforms in the world space, and then just lay out them in Houdini the way you want. And obviously, like, not all these takes we end up using, but yeah, this is the example, and I think I'm gonna just cut to the ready scene. Yeah. So here we are diving into network, and yeah, usually we start. Oh, sorry, I wanted to pause. We just sometimes need to clean up some of the data, and we put new node of 19.5, the smooth motion, on the specific skeleton, and then we have our modular parts of the rig where we created like some just simple IK setups for the hands, and we can adjust just all this animation. And as you can see, it all goes together with a musical instrument, with a prop attached, and it's really nice. And in case you want to more general overall adjust to the body, we use full body IK. It still you can still adjust the hands, but like it's less precise for that part. But the cool thing that's really work all together. It's really fun to work with. Yeah, you can rotate some parts, like make his body lean. Here's an example of our additional tool, joint corrective blend shape. So when character hits some pose, so it modifies a little bit the folds, because the folds are like the most problematic places in the hands and under the knees. Yeah, so it's generally automatic. You create the pose, example pose, and then each time the actor hits the pose, it turns on this blend shape or corrective joint. Yeah. And now we can show you a little bit how we rigged the instruments, the props. So generally speaking, we take the geometry of the prop and we attach it to the prop to the tool. To attach the prop, it has autoskeleton that generally works with a bounding box, or you can even define the specific point where you want to be, like the starting point and the end point. And yeah, you say which bone to attach it to the character and which bone to look at, to aim. So generally, it's like the second hand, the first 2 points where the instrument is connected. So it's connected to the leg and then looks at the hand. And then we do the same for the stick that he plays, and then we add another, already attach it to the bone of the first prop. So that's why it's all tied together and it looks so natural. Yeah, and again we can put what we like about KineFX, that it's really modular and you can put these parts of the rig anywhere, even like swap them, and it will more or less keep the animation in the same place. And then we generally export it. And what we need to do here, we just put in this export node, is just sort of flag to let PDG know that we need to export this animation. And then we just process it. And again, here we can put additional modifications that don't go to the prop. For example, like we want, after the prop is rigged, make some little adjust of the hand. So we do it there. Then we go to our export networks. So usually we have just one network like that, but yeah, here we decided to separate for every instrument because like it has some different details on it. Yeah, this also built with PDG, so each animation that we put that flag inside will be exported. So for example, this first node goes for every animation, and this one takes only the one that is named Comanche, it's the name of the instrument. So we just also generate static work items, cook, and it cooks this animation already processed for the export. So it's already retargeted, it's already edited, and it's just going and exporting. What's also important that, as you can see, we have made the layout of all these characters inside Houdini, so we need somehow to bring this information to Unreal. And yeah, now we get the just pop-up saying that all this was exported. Generally, that's it. What it done, it created the metadata that holds all the information where the character specific animation is positioned, and also where did it come from, yeah, like that. So it's like just simple code that's showing taking the transforms that we make in Houdini and just provides the JSON. So you can see on the bottom part that we have like JSON near each animation. And then Unreal knows to take this info and to translate it. Okay, so close simulation. What's beauty of all of this that we could just streamline all of this process and take all these animations and process them with Vellum and PDG, because it's all already there, and generally for each character we just do once the setup for the closed simulation in Vellum. Look, when it looks nice, we just process in PDG, and it runs for all of them. Again, it's important to mention that we had like 3,000 frames of the simulation. It's pretty heavy even for the offline work, but then to bring it to Unreal it's a challenge, really. And also to debug these things, because you know, you have something happening on frame 1000, you will never know until you simulate it. So here you can see the process. We generally first we skin the clothes so they move with the character, and then we have our special tool to take the animation, to take the information about different parts of the clothing from Marvelous Designer, because it's kind of weird how it splits the parts, because it doesn't create groups, it creates just material attributes, and we just use it to split different parts, to add colors and create these attributes for each of the group of the clothing. And then we just make some Vellum prep. It's like pre-simulation stages where we define properties for the parts. Sometimes we delete, we clean up, we modify stuff, and then we look at the bone deform together with the character, and then we have network of Vellum constraints. And this is the ready one, but like we have a shelf tool that generally creates these constraints. You choose the attribute, and now it created constraints network for every part that we defined earlier, which is really helpful, because like different part has different setup. Shirt and the pants have obviously different fabrics. Yeah, and again, PDG, .NET, we can scrub through animations, look at them, and just look at each one of them before it goes to export, and then we press the PDG button, and it creates the caches, and then out of them some processes for Alembic, and also we define the ranges. Sometimes we want only part of the animation to be simulated because like each frame costs a lot of resources, so we can define this as well. And then PDG runs through the network, and we have all our Alembics baked and cooked. So what happens next? Again, this is a tool specifically for this project. So we created the custom tool to import everything we've done so far. So these are the animations, these are the world transforms of each character, and the close simulation. And we use this metadata JSON that you've seen previously to position them in the scene. Then create sequence for each of them, and we could assemble them in sequence. So this is like a demo. This tool is not so complicated actually. We also did it in Python, and we just say the directory and press the button to import all the animations, and one by one it imports them and bring it to the specific place in Unreal Content Browser. And yeah, at least in Unreal animations, you can press usually one button to import all the Alembics. No, you like need to wait each time the one finished importing, press it again, so you can't like leave it to the night. So here we could do that. And once it's ready, we create level sequences out of it. And what it generally does, we create some template for level sequence in Unreal Engine. So we define how we want it to look in the sequencer, because each character may need something else. Some need props, some doesn't need props, someone needs this cache, someone doesn't. And once it's done, we create level sequences. And they are sorry, and they are here in Unreal. I will just scrub through it, and they have all these tracks, and here they are positioned in the same place. And you can see on the right side, it created all the anchors, so generally nulls. So they connected to them, and each one of them have the sequence. And then we just create the master sequence where we already manually place the animations on the timeline, so we can scrub through them and define the timings. This is something we still don't have in Houdini, to lay out the animations on the timeline, but I know it's coming. And yeah, so we can generally, put it left or right on the timeline. They all together play nicely. Yeah, so generally this is our presentation. For the future, we plan to switch it to USD from FBX for animations, and probably to release this toolset when we polish it a little bit. And also, we didn't have time to talk about how we modify the bodies of metahumans, but it's something that's not available yet from Epic. If you want different bodies, So we've also done it in Houdini, and it's really cool. I think it will be helpful for a lot of guys. So yeah, be sure to reach out and have our links here on the screen. Thank you.
Super cool workflows. I think we have time for maybe one question. Yeah.
Did you combine Xsense body tracks with face tracks yet, or is the face hand animated? Because I didn't see it in the workflow.
You mean 4D?
No, I mean the project you just showed.
Yeah.
When you record, for example, the music scenes.
Yeah.
Did you record face as well? And
yeah, but actually for them not simultaneously, because not really point of that, because we didn't want our musician to be distracted. Yes, he had to play well, and then I recorded myself doing some faces. It's combined in Unreal. It's very easy. It's fun.
So you combined it in Unreal, not in Houdini.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Daniel.
Thank you so much.